everything was hectic, but it makes you tough. It makes you really, really tough. That's one really good memory of mine, that I remember UGEE as the most interesting paper or fun paper that I ever gave.
Other questions will be time based and some puzzles based.
I'll give you very honest advice that this college is more known for the software part.
And then there will be a cutoff for each and every board. Every board has separate cutoffs. Semester was basically a hectic for me.
Questions. What makes you inclined towards research? Why do you want to join IIIT?
IIIT Hyderabad, an institute renowned for its research culture. But there's a huge myth that people here do nothing but study, code and do research. No fun, no campus life, just endless and endless assignments. But is that really true? And what about the UGEE and the boards mode of admission? How do they work? What kind of questions you can expect? And most importantly, what is the best strategy to crack them? To get the real answers, I spoke to the students who got in through these modes and they had really good insights. So hey everyone, my name is Arpit and I'm a final year student at IIIT Hyderabad. I was trying to create this series for a while, but I could not do. But guess what? Finally it is happening so that you guys can get help from it and get to know about the IIIT Hyderabad more. So finally let's get started and hear the truth from the students of IIIT Hyderabad. So let's go. And today we are going to talk about UGEE and the boards mode. So we have Sanidhya here, Harshvardhan here and Divyansh here. And thank you guys for joining me.
I'm Divyansh Atri from Himachal Pradesh. I came through boards, modes of admission, and I'm currently in CND branch.
So hello everyone. Just said Arpit ne bola, I'm Harshvardhan and I'm currently in my pre-final year and I'm CSG. I came through UGEE.
Hi everyone, I'm Sanidhya and we are all in the same batch, Arpit, me and Harshvardhan. So I'm a UG4 student, that's 4th year, and I'm in ECD branch.
First of all, please tell me your branches and how is your branches can be defined.
Okay, so I'll start first. So my branch is ECD, that is Electronics and Communication. The D in the ECD stands for dual degree, and that's the naming convention of all the branches here. So D in all the dual degree branches basically stands for dual degree. Yeah. So EC is Electronics and Communication. So here the degrees that you get are BTech in Computer Science or Electronics, and then your Masters is a specialized course or basically specialized area.
So same as him. I'm in CSG, so it's same. You don't have to choose any specialized sub branch within computer science. Rather, you'll be a much more general student in which you can choose any lab which you want. And D again stands for the dual degree, BTech in computer science, and then a master's or honors in computer science and engineering.
I'm a fresher in this college, and basically I'm in CND branch, that stands for Computational and Natural Sciences. This branch is basically for the students who are interested in sciences and all that things.
Question about that, how do you apply for UGEE and what is the process, what are the steps that you take while preparing or applying for the UGEE? Yeah.
So there will be a form which will be released on the IIIT website itself, and then you have to list out your preference. Along with that, there are a few more questions. What makes you inclined towards the research? Why do you want to join IIIT? And I guess those are the questions which the professors has the answer to when they are interviewing you. So they'll be reading through the answers and then they'll get an idea of who you are and why do you want to do research. So make sure you write those answers pretty well. So it's like an essay when you are applying to some foreign universities. So it's somewhat of that, and then at last you have to pay the money, obviously. Submitted.
Okay. Sadly. We are going to talk about UGEE and the boards mode. So we'll start with the UGEE thing. So Sanidhya and Harshvardhan, you came from the UGEE. What was your experience compared to the JEE and the BITSAT and other exams?
तो ऐसा होता है कि UGEE happens just after BITSAT, or the interviews happen after JEE Advance mostly. तो when I gave my JEE mains, I was not that confident कि इसमें CSC मिलेगा IIIT Hyderabad में, और so I applied for BITSAT. I got good marks over there. I was getting BITS Pilani, but then side by side I also gave UGEE exam, entrance exam, and I got the qualifying marks, and then I appeared for the interviews. So I would say BITSAT is all about time, like you'll have to practice a lot, and then UGEE is time for the first paper because you have to solve like 60 questions in 50 minutes. But the second one is not all about time. They'll also check your reasoning ability and other stuff, which will be related to research and other thing. And similar goes for the interview. And for JEE, it's the syllabus you are covering in most of these coaching institutes. You want to add?
Yeah. So one thing I'll add specific to JEE exam, UGEE exam, I think JEE and BITSAT he covered really well. So there's two sections. SUPR is the one that he talked about where you have to solve questions really fast, and there's the other section REAP. I don't remember the full forms because it's been a while, but basically in REAP, like he mentioned, they are testing your research ability, your ability to do research, and so the section is very strange and weird. If you're just preparing for JEE exams, it will be very unconventional. So you'll be asked questions which directly evaluate your logical and analytical reasoning skills. It's not at all memorization. So for me at least, I wasn't very well prepared for that, and I just went there and I was so surprised by the questions. But thankfully the questions are intuitive in a way. If you have the intuition and if you have the reasoning to solve them, then yeah, you'll do them basically. So that's mostly it.
Yeah. So thank you for giving the brief about the SUPR and RAP. If you want to give an example, how someone can expect and what could be the question for SUPR or the REAP? So what would be the intuition behind that?
Okay, I'll go first. So SUPR is mostly just like your JEE questions. It's PCM, physics, chemistry, maths related. It's similar to JEE level, JEE mains level. And if I talk about REAP or REAP as we call it, so there I remember a question that was there for me in my UGEE exam where we were given excerpt or basically some sort of text which was in some other language, and we were given its translation in English. Now what you had to do is analyze that language's grammar by the translation that is given to you, and then in the next following questions you were required to basically translate again some different sentences from that languages to English. So that was a very interesting problem statement, and that's one really good memory of mine that I remember UGEE as the most interesting paper or fun paper that I ever gave. So yeah.
So mostly the same. Like SUPR, you can since it's subject proficiency test, so it will be just checking your not your rote learning or something which you can memorize a lot. So for the chemistry part, they'll be asking you questions from physical chemistry and very less from the inorganic chemistry part. And for the organic chemistry, they'll be simply asking you basic reactions, not some exceptions as such. You can read through NCERT and you'll be done. For maths part, you will be just having probability questions, and some of the questions will also exceed the JEE mains level. I would say that because I have to leave few questions which I remember till date. They were really very tough, so you can't attempt those and can't give your 5 minutes to that question to compromise on the other 5. And for the physics, just focus on the mechanics and optic parts because that's the most part which is asked in the SUPR. And for the REAP, since it's reasoning and aptitude, the same question, like it's very unpredictable. It's like JEE advanced paper. You don't know the exact marking scheme which is going to happen. There can be five options. There can be 6 options. There can be negative marking. There can't be negative marking. It all depends on the type of the section which you are going to attempt. And the section which he mentioned was the first. I remember that was the first time which was introduced into the exam. There you have to write the complete subjective answer, right? You don't have any options to choose from. It was given a complete statement. My name is Harshvardhan. A Persian text was given before just to train your brain, and then you have to translate the exact same statement with exact same grammar into the English language.
So it was a subjective exam.
Yeah, you have to write the complete sentence. Even one word would cost you the complete marks. So other questions will be time based and some puzzle based. Let's say you have something of that sort. So it will be related to NTSC and the other mental ability exams which you would have given in your primary and other.
Moving on to the boards part, so Divyansh is here. Hi Divyansh, now just give us a brief how this board part that just introduced last year, right?
Basically, boards mode of admission is basically you have to apply for it in the portal, and then there will be a cutoff for each and every board. Every board has separate cutoffs. So in every board, like for me, it was a Himachal Pradesh board. There are CBSE, Punjab, various other boards. They all apply for this admission process. Basically, it has 10 students. So the cutoff for this is like 90% marks in mathematics. Then only are applicable to apply for this form. Okay. And then you have to fill your marks and all that thing and upload your mark sheet. Then after that you will see that a mail will be received that you are being successfully selected for the interview. And then the interview process starts. So there's a cutoff for every board. Like for CBSE it was like, I remember it was 99 point something.
So is there any eligibility criteria or just giving
No,
us
there is an eligibility criteria that is 90% marks in mathematics.
Okay. So
And
the only-
80% marks in physics, chemistry, maths total.
Okay.
Yes.
This was great. Okay. And the next thing that is there is the interview, right?
Yes, the next thing is the interview.
Okay. So boards part is like simple. Just find out the criteria and then
Yes.
the marks and then the interview, right?
Yes,
Based
then
on
the
the
interview.
selection or the
Yes,
cutoff.
the main thing is like getting cutoff. Like cutoff thing is the cutoff is very high for each and every board. The lowest cutoff I remember is for Gujarat board.
Gujarat board. How
Yes.
was that?
It was like 91%.
91.
Because
91.
Gujarat board has different set of criteria.
Okay. Interesting. So, guys, how was your interview experience there? People have different opinions about that. What do you think? How was your interview, and what are the things that you noticed were different from other interviews?
So honestly, I did not have a lot of experience when I was giving the interview, and this was probably my first interview in my life. So I did not know what to expect there. But the interviewers were very friendly. I was very scared, and I did not know what to expect. And even when I went into the meeting, it was an online interview, by the way. So the faculty members, they were professors from this college. Now I know that, but at that time I didn't. So they had their cameras off. It was just my camera on, and I was very scared. But they were very friendly, honestly, and they asked me questions, and the questions also were very like formed in a way that they would appear as if they are real life problems. So ultimately the solution would be some mathematical way to approach the question. There would be some mathematical way to approach the question, but they formulate it in a way that you think reasonably and analytically and logically. And yeah, when I was stuttering and when I didn't know what to do, when I was stuck, they did help me out. They gave me hints when I couldn't proceed. And yeah, it seemed scary in the starting, but they were really friendly. So I had a good experience, honestly.
So it was not about the correct answer, but it was more about the process.
Yeah, so that's one thing that a really good question, honestly. So when I came here and I talked to a lot of people, I realized that at least for me, the question that they asked, it had a correct answer, but for a lot of people, the questions, they had no correct answer, and they just wanted to see what approach you can come up with while solving the question. So yeah, that was really interesting.
So for me, it was not first interview, by the way. Before that, I gave interview for KVPY, but it doesn't happen anymore. So I also gave interview for NDA, SSB, but I failed in both of those. So confidence was really low because of that. But still, as you mentioned, the interviewer or the panel of professors were really very friendly. So they didn't even have my introduction. So my interview just lasted for 1 minute 34 seconds or something like that. And they asked me 3 questions. And since he told, the questions were framed as if you have to extract a lot of data from them itself. Like what they asked me was, suppose an electron revolves around a nucleus, why doesn't it fall inside the nucleus? This is a very basic questions, and there are several approaches to explain that, right? So you can just simply tell it doesn't fall because there are fixed orbits, which is defined by Bohr. But why does that happen? You have to come all the way from standing waves and then prove why for the certain states standing waves happen and why for the other states standing wave doesn't happen in terms of angular momentum, which is given in the extra part of the NCERT last book. So I had read that, so I had an idea, so I framed the answer in such a way that they really liked at least the chemistry part. And for the other stuff, like my English question was something like, let's suppose I gave my book to Sanidhya. Sanidhya gave the same book to Arpit. Now I have to describe the whole sentence to the professor panel without using any noun, just using pronouns. So it was something like that. So initially what I was doing is I told Harsh gave the book to his friend, Harsh's friend gave the book to his friend, something of that sort. I included 1-2 nouns, so they were not very happy, but they were impressed, like, okay, I am at least trying. And in the third attempt I finally got the answer. It was something like Harsh gave the book to his friend, Harsh's friend gave the book to his Harsh's friend's friend, and then Harsh is asking the book back from Harsh's friend's friend. Okay. So it was something like that.
Interesting.
So, removing the noun and pronouns.
As listening to your answers, what I get is like, don't be silent. At least try to approach the problem, and yeah, they'll help. And even if the answer is not correct, at least try. And whatever you are getting, just give them whatever you're thinking, and they will definitely help. Like that, right?
I think that's a general approach to like even college here in general. You should speak up, you should be active, you should not be the bookworm who sits at like in the corner of the class and just studies it from his book. Ask questions, people are really interactive, profs are amazing, so you should ask questions. And yeah, that's mostly it.
So the next question was about the resources. How did you come up with this UGEE strategy and the resources or the books or anything else that you heard of or you read or is there anything that you wanna mention?
So I'll answer his part as well. We don't have any resources as such.
That's why I passed the microphone, because I have nothing to say.
So when you prepare for JEE, I think most of the part is already covered, because the questions won't be exceeding that level, and if that exceeds, you have to skip that. If you're not, then you won't pass the exam. So it's simple. It's just to test your time and patience. But for the REAP part, as I told, if you are preparing for NTSC or some other exams like the IMO exams or NSO exam, which happens at the several school levels right now, so they include that 10 marks mental ability questions. True. So Olympiads which happen at school. So if you are well versed with that, preparing for NTSC and have qualified for level 2, even not qualified for level 2, you have solved at least some basic mental ability question, reasoning questions, you will be good to go for the REAP part. And I have heard this startup called IIIT Prep. So I created the resources for the year 2022, I guess. So they also get this memory based question from the previous years, so you can just use that for the help as well.
So this is not a sponsored thing, but yeah, this is the only resource I know right now.
True.
And the Harsh was also mentioning, and the previous person that I was talking to, he was also mentioning that same resource. And I think that is a good thing to mention and to prepare with. And I don't know much resource of it because I didn't attempt that thing. But as far as I know about the SUPR, I don't think other than JEE something is required.
Nothing is required.
And one more thing that I'd like to add, a question that I got a lot from juniors or like the people who were coming to IIIT is like, what did you do to prepare for the interview? And I think we both will have the same answer, that we did not do anything to prepare for the interview. We were just searching of what could happen, what to do, but ultimately there's nothing, because like he mentioned, it happens after JEE Advanced. So I'm assuming you are an engineering student, so when you are there, you have already like grinded your life out and you have no life left because you have studied PCM so much. So I don't think there's any more PCM that will help you there. It's just your thinking ability, and like Arpit mentioned, you should just try to speak more in the interview.
About the branch preferences, how does that happen or work during the process of this UGEE?
Okay, I don't remember the timelines. Do you know the timelines of when we were required to fill?
Timelines, you have to fill it when you're filling out the form itself. Like during the initial registration, they ask you for the preference itself and you can't change it afterwards. So you'll have to be very careful with that. So what I remember is my rank was 4th. So what I've heard is rank 1 and 2 went for CHD.
Okay.
So
Oh my god. Rank 4, crazy.
I was the CHD rank opener. So what I got to know from them is they have already contacted their seniors and they went for CHD. They didn't choose CHD. And I've also heard that people from below 10 rank or something also went for CND, I guess.
CLD also I've heard.
CLD as well.
I also
So
people who are taking CND by their choice because
Yeah,
they
by their
want to
choice.
pursue natural sciences as their career. So
true.
Yeah, so like there's one guy in our batch. He's an amazing guy, and I think he had some 600 or 800 rank in JEE Advanced, but he has CND here.
Yes.
Talking about the preferences, ultimately boils down to genuinely your preference. So for me, I was very tired of studying sciences, so I did not well CND as a preference on top. But yeah, it was there. But I mean, definitely if you are interested in core electronics, then you'll go for electronics. But I'll give you very honest advice that this college is more known for the software part. So even for placements and companies, most of the companies that come here are only for software roles. So in that sense, you could say that CS branches have more opportunities. But the best part about this college is that there's not a lot of restrictions. So me being an EC student, there was equal opportunities for me to go into the core side or go into the software side as a, like, academically, at least I would say, like for the courses that I had to choose. So personally I went for the software side. There are people who went for the core as well, but yeah, that's ultimately boils down to your preference, like what do you like, because research you'll have to do in that field, so you better choose it wisely.
Now, the question is how things are different for me as a single degree and him as a dual degree. So I'm a single degree, so I'm not dedicated towards the research. I mean, I can do research, and there are multiple things like honors I can do if I want to do as a research thing. But if I ask you about the research and the lab and the research opportunities, how do you think, and what comes to your mind when it comes to lab opportunities?
Okay, so firstly I'll try to answer that. How is it different from the single degree? So what happens for us in, I think, third year we have the honors credits, right? Yeah, so from third year basically we have to choose a lab. Like generally colleges have departments, we have labs, research labs, because this is a research based college primarily. So we choose a lab and we have to do compulsory credits there from starting from third year. So that's the extra work that you have to do starting from third year. And then essentially at the end of your graduation you will be required to publish a thesis and present it, defend a thesis. So for that thesis you'll have to, like, basically have content to write in the thesis, and the lab you choose, you also get a research advisor that you have to choose. So that research advisor will have some requirements. So let's say my research advisor requires me to write 2 research papers, and based on those 2 research papers I'll have to write a thesis. So that's how it works. That's what the extra work is essentially. And I mean, yeah, we also have 5 years to do it. These guys only have 4 years, so
We are about to go.
Yeah, they're about to go. And
So no more videos from next time.
So there's one thing that props are here very flexible for the labs. For example, he is a ECD guy, but he can also join a cognitive science lab, or I think.
But in that case, it depends as well. On that, I'll say,
Yeah.
if you are in CND, you are basically supposed to just choose CC and SB. You can't choose any other labs apart from
CCNSB is the
yeah.
Natural sciences
So
lab.
natural sciences lab.
is the natural sciences lab for the CND course. For the CSD, you have to choose HSRG, which is Human Source Resource Group, and for the CGD, which is the new branch, you'll have to choose LSI, which will be Geospatial Lab. And for the CSD and ECD, it's open for all, I guess, open to all labs. So you also have to take into consideration that when you are filling that form. And for the CLD, it's mostly LTRC or some other lab as well. It depends, because LTRC, you don't even have enough professors to accommodate all those students, so they can choose any other lab as well. So there's a difference.
So mostly the flexibility exists primarily in CSD and ECD branches. I have seen CLD people working elsewhere as well. I mean, there are CND and CHD people also, they work in other labs sometimes, but that's very rare, honestly. And like, but the main thing is that if you're interested genuinely in research, any prof is welcome to,
Divyansh is here and he is a fresher, and I would like to ask, how was your experience till now in the CND branch?
After completing my 1 sem in this college as a CND student, I realized that if you are in CND, you should have a good mathematics in order to build the courses. Like, you have various courses in which you need mathematics as a core strength. And in also CND courses, now in this sem also, the main thing is the maths only. So if you are good in mathematics and you are interested in science thing, and you can relate science and mathematics in a one way, CND is one of the best branches.
I have a question. The science means what? Physics?
Science means
Biology?
basically physics. Physics. Till now I've studied physics.
Okay.
Later on I will study like biology, bioinformatics, all that things also.
Okay.
But basically the thing is physics. Till now I have only physics and chemistry and mathematics courses only. So main courses are like physics and maths only.
So you will also have the science lab, right? Where
that
you
is
do
in
experiment.
2-1.
Yeah, so you will have that.
Yes, I'll have that in next sem.
Okay, so that's a CND thing. And just
And
give you
one more thing that I'd like to add, that I mean, generally that was a doubt for me, because I was not initially extremely interested in research. So when I came here, there are different subjects, and like he said, science as well. I mean, he definitely seems interested. I wasn't, I'll be very honest.
No
So
one
I'll-
will be.
yeah, a lot of people weren't. We both are very surprised that he said that. Yeah, so but yeah, that happens quite a lot. But I mean, the curriculum is honestly very manageable. It's ultimately up to you what labs you choose. If you choose a very hard lab where you want to pursue extremely difficult research and you want to submit papers in some crazy conference, then that's up to you. But there's also labs where professors are more considerate and they are more lenient basically. So that's also there.
So one last question about this curriculum and whole thing, that how do you see research as a whole?
Go ahead.
So as I told, no one is interested from the starting itself. That's a very honest answer. So but after coming here, what I realized is research is actually good in terms of your thinking ability, because even if you go into the software industry, you will be thinking from a perspective from which no other person is trying to think of. So for example, the best thing which we have got an habit of is reading research papers. I'll be very honest with that. So whenever I'm given some problem statement, I just go and search for some literature reviews. So I'm very well with that. So I just try to find out what are the state of the art technologies for that, and then I start the implementation after discussion with a manager or whosoever it is. But on the other colleges, what I've seen is you have to tell them the technology itself. You have to tell them, okay, this is the state of the art method, and then they'll start the implementation. Whereas it's
Like he said, initially I wasn't at all into research and I was very scared, honestly. But like honestly, that's one kudos to my professor as well, because like initially they don't directly push it all onto you कि research करनी है, ये सब है, paper लिखो. They'll guide you through everything. It will be a very easy starter problems that they'll help you with completely from end to end कि कैसे you have to do everything, and then you start building up your own problem statements. And there's a lot of people that you'll also get to work with which are already publishing their research papers, so they know what they are doing. So you get an idea of everything from the lab, from the professors that you're working with. So it's a great environment. Like it's an absolutely amazing environment if you are slightly interested in research, because I don't think you'll get this kind of research environment anywhere else. Every problem that you'll get, they'll put research angle into it, and it's amazing.
So you have to trust these guys because these are in fourth year and these people are doing research. Yes. And one thing that you should remember is that CGPA does matter. And
It heavily matters.
it heavily matters when you apply for some labs or even the placement or the internship or whatever you're doing. It matters.
like most major determining factor, honestly. And
Yeah, still, remember one thing.
company बैठने नहीं देती है.
Yes.
maintain above 8.5 or 9.
हाँ, go ahead. That's the most golden statement.
Golden statement.
Try to maintain above 8.5 or 9. So
नहीं
No,
भाई ये टॉपर है.
Yes.
हम टॉपर नहीं. इसका 9 बोल दिया भाई ने, डर लग रहा है. डर जा रहा हूँ.
Most awaited or most frequent question, which is about the campus life here. So, what do you think? I'll start with the Divyas because
First year.
he is a fresher. And what do you think, Divyas? How is your first semester? How is your second semester?
गंदा
going?
बोलने वाला है ये. बोल.
First semester was basically a hectic for me.
Okay. How
Because-
hectic is what?
Assignments पे assignment and because hectic है, you can enjoy. Like मेरे friends और मैं mostly हम exam time पे enjoy करते हैं क्योंकि वो सबसे free time होता है. No classes, no things.
भाई गजब.
भाई साहब. ऐसे तो पढ़ रहे हो, फिर तुम एग्जाम्स में ऐश कर रहे हो, ऐसे कैसे होता है? But this is मतलब like he said, I mean Quora can be true for, I mean I would say for me at least, when I came to the college it was very hectic and I didn't know what to do, but now that I've come into fourth year it doesn't seem that hectic at all. So what happens is in the first year you don't know how to score grades, what to do, what to study, and how to basically score marks essentially. There's smart work, there's hard work, there's a lot of other ways you can score marks. So yeah, you learn the ways of the college when you
get used to
grow. Yeah, grow
So
up here.
basically hectic तो अभी भी है पर अब हमको आदत हो
Managed
चुकी
it,
है.
yeah.
तो we don't know is this a hectic or not.
And I mean in third year also you'll get the chance, I think second year also you get the chances to choose courses. So eventually you can choose easier courses if you are feeling it's too hectic. So
What do you think? What is the most liked thing for you? At least one or two things that you liked most in this college.
Light thing.
About
Location is
anything.
too good. That's a 1 point for sure. And other is the placement. Placements ठीक है मतलब अच्छी है. Depends on how much are you expecting. If you are expecting in crores, then obviously
Sad.
nahi.
Then obviously you have to do the hard work.
But if you are expecting somewhere around 25ish or 30ish,
Then you can get.
Then for sure you'll get one.
And for sure he means that he's a topper and he does it effortlessly. But for most of, basically I think it's a general advice for everybody for in every stage of life that you have to work hard always. There's never gonna be a time where you can just chill out and things will automatically come to you. Most like thing is that there are no restrictions of when you can come in and go out of campus. You can go out at 4 a.m. also. I hope that rule doesn't change because of these guys. Hope they don't do some crazy
It actually changed
stuff.
for us so.
Yeah, it changed for us for a while.
Curfew, it happened.
कर्फ्यू हो गया था थोड़ा सा, कुछ लोगों ने
हरकतें
मस्ती
ठीक
कर
है
दी
ना
थी तो हाँ, but ठीक है, that's an amazing rule.
But I'll just say the same thing that कभी भी आ सकते हो बाहर, but there's one disadvantage, one thing.
Even for the girls.
Even
Everyone.
Even for the girls.
Everyone.
for the girls.
For
ये
everyone.
VIT वाले ये ना सोच के बैठ जाए कि
हाँ मतलब for everyone it is free go out, but 85% attendance is the
हाँ, shit.
सुबह
One-
पहुंच जाना होगा क्लास, रात में कहीं भी जाओ.
मतलब
That's the thing.
at the end you can only leave 4 classes for the 4 credit course and 2 classes for the 2 credit course. People do talk about the coding culture here, and Sanidhya, what do you think?
मैं तो पार्टी में कोडिंग कल्चर का.
About coding culture, I guess. अभी हमारी टीम ICPC में it was in West Asia finals. I guess they secured rank 3.
Yes.
And the people were from second year. तो उससे अंदाजा लगा सकते हो आप.
Congratulations to them. Now talking about the clubs and societies here. When you came here in first year, what did you see? Let's start with the Divyans first. Then
Okay.
we'll see how things changed here.
I was particularly enthusiastic about the clubs. I thought I will join like pentabolism and all that thing, but now I realized they are not the part.
Club wise, I think सिर्फ 2 ही 3 अच्छे हैं. एक पिंग है जो एक्टिव होता है, दूसरा OSGG ओपन सोर्स, एक प्रोग्रामर्स क्लब भी है जो ट्रैक है, एंड द फोर्थ वन आई गेस इज E-Cell.
Yes, sir.
But ये 4 are mostly the most active ones.
Okay.
ये पढ़ाकू लोग हैं. कल्चरल क्लब्स भी हैं.
अब आएगा लिटरेरी क्लब जो बंद हो चुका है.
अरे बहुत सारे क्लब्स हैं. मतलब देयर आर ऑल स्मॉल कम्युनिटीज. मेजर इवेंट्स तो मतलब हाँ, मतलब देयर आर मेजर क्लब्स व्हिच हैव बिग इवेंट्स, बट देयर आर आल्सो स्मॉल क्लब्स व्हिच people who are enthusiastic about they take part in those events, and it's also fun. It's all nothing like कि campus life नहीं है और सिर्फ programming club ही है. There's also other clubs and
Here, so there's a very small community here. You can see people going around. You almost know everyone. Not everyone, but
which can be a good and a bad thing.
yeah.
हाँ.
Because yes,
Yes.
for example, if you're going from your room to the canteen, you might see 10 people, and you might know 8 people or 9 people.
And if you walk slowly, you might see the same person twice because they have circled around the campus.
very small, but yeah, so very good thing also, but on the same time bad thing also. But yeah, so people will help you anyways. And how did you experience? What was your interaction with the seniors, and did they really help you?
Give it to me.
Yes, course.
Give it to him. We are the seniors.
देखते हैं क्या बोलता है.
क्या लगता है दिव्यांश, हम लोग कैसे हैं?
अब तो प्रेशर हो गया.
अरे
बोल.
बेसिकली में सीनियर्स अच्छे थे.
अच्छे थे, अब नहीं है.
मतलब कुछ है, कई एक सीनियर मिला था मुझे. ही सेड दैट सीजी लाइट.
Oh no.
ऐसे ही सीनियर्स तो अच्छे होते हैं, काम की बातें वाले.
हाँ, पर अपेरेंटली 2 अच्छे मिले थे. उन्होंने बोला सीजी मैटर करती है. उसके बाद मैंने पढ़ा तो नहीं, बट ठीक है.
पढ़ा.
Giving all these weird and good answers, now we are going to have the last question. I think that what is that one reason that you would say to join IIIT Hyderabad?
So, in summarization about summary of all the experiences I have, one major thing that I like, that everything was hectic, but it makes you tough. It makes you really, really tough. I mean, now that we both are able to say that it was hectic from the starting, but now we're able to manage. It's not like things have gotten easier. I mean, some cases they get easier, but mostly you get tougher. So that's a very good lesson that I learned here in college.
True, like I would agree to that. Though it's hectic, but at last it sums up really well. It'll make you a guy who is really appreciated around in the industry as well. And apart from that, if you are the one who wants to, like, who can sacrifice a bit on his cultural part or the other stuff, and then he wants to aim for those placements which you even heard, like you often hear from India, so you can come here. I would say that. And
वैसे तो
जेंडर रेशियो भी अच्छा है.
आए झूठ पे झूठ.
दिव्यांश, what do you think? अभी तो तुम्हारा फर्स्ट ईयर है बट स्टिल.
हेक्टिक, इट वाज मैनेजेबल. मतलब अभी तक मैनेजेबल हो चुका है. स्टार्टिंग के 2 मंथ मेरे लिए हेक्टिक थे बिकॉज मैं बीमार रहा, बिकॉज देयर वाज अ मेजर टेम्परेचर चेंज फॉर मी बिकॉज आई एम फ्रॉम हिमाचल. सो मैक्सिमम टेम्परेचर इज लाइक 18-20 फॉर मी, बट हेयर इट इज लाइक 30-40. अभी तो हीट स्ट्रोक आ रहा है आजकल. तो स्टार्टिंग के 2 महीने हेक्टिक थे, बट अभी तक बहुत मैनेजेबल हो चुका है.
To summarize that, there are multiple things that you have to manage, but at the end it is basically the institute is shaping you in a way that you can handle multiple situations, multitasking. You can do the things that might feel very hectic to you, and it is just giving you the path and the networks also, because alumni are at very good places, and you at least get a smooth path.
UGEE का ये बेनिफिट तो है. द वन थिंग विच आई हैड माई माइंड इज कि आई वॉज नॉट दैट गुड, एटलीस्ट जेई के हिसाब से तो आई वॉज नॉट दैट गुड. अभी कुछ 99 परसेंटाइल के मुश्किल से आया था. बट देन इफ़ यू हैव टू बी इन दैट क्राउड प्रॉपर जहाँ पे लोगों के 99.99 कुछ आ रहे हैं, सो द UGEE इज़ द ओनली वे विच कैन गेट यू इन बिटवीन दोज प्रॉपर गाइज कि हाँ अगर वो 300 है तो इवन इफ़ यू गेट into those 80, so if you are in top 50, top 60 of your batch or even top 100, then you'll be feeling proud for you कि हाँ मैंने एटलीस्ट अच्छे लोगों के साथ रहा है और I tried to make a better version of myself.
Yes, too.
एक और चीज़ I like to add is कि starting में when you come from other modes and not JEE, you might feel that you're inferior. So that is not true. I mean, I feel I've also felt that quite a lot when I came here, because I was through UGEE mode, and that also EC, which had the last closing rank, so that was quite a difficult time for me. But eventually you realize that you can build up all the skills. Everybody who is here, college has designed it modes of admission well enough to ensure that everybody who comes here has a good enough skill set to proceed. You have all the opportunities, you'll have good skills, so if you work upon them properly, if you don't mess around too much, so you'll have a great life.
The last thing, that just if you're preparing for JEE, just do that, and I don't think anything other than that is required. Just he said about the resources, just use those, and other than that you cannot do much for the interviews because those are very random and unpredictable and you don't know what questions are they are going to ask. But yeah, you should be very clear about the concepts, because those are the real things that are going to be used.
In the research field, it's honestly an amazing college. Even the conferences that you look at where papers are accepted, there's a lot of names from IIIT. And even you could compare it to IITs as well. And the research culture here is amazing. We also have a research and development fest, and it's huge. It's one of the biggest events here. So.
R&D showcase is biggest, and it is like, I mean, you must have seen the videos where they compare our college with the IIT Bombay or something, other college. So I think that is mostly based on our research work that are going to happen here or is happening. And
at least for the research part, you could say that.
Yes, you can say that. But yes, cultural part, I don't think so. It is not developed right now. But right now it is developing in a way that I think in 3-4 years it will be at a decent level.
At least much better than this.
Yeah, much better
because
than this.
There are 2 new buildings which are coming up.
Yeah.
So it will have a perfect, I'm not sure about swimming pool, but it will be having indoor badminton court at least.
Yeah.
And there will be other few tracks as well. So the sports facility will be like improved a lot.
Yeah.
Lot in the coming years.
Construction work is happening.
Yeah, construction work is happening. That's secondary. But basically, even the student bodies here, people are passionate about what they do. So he's doing his thing, game development. We both are doing videography. So we also did a lot of things in college. We met a lot of people, and they also got inspired by our work and the cultural stuff here. So it's a good community, I would say that.
So essentially you have multiple options for the branches like CSD, CLD, CND and so many. Now the details for all these things are available on the website, the IIIT official website. So you can go there and check out the dates and the updates, everything is there. So prepare well, and if the JEE didn't go well for you or you didn't prepare well, I think UGE is also a good path, and if your 12th percentage are good, so you can also go with the boards mode. So when you see the college, you also see the placement stats, and the stats are really good here. Also the research opportunities here are really well, and the culture is also incredible with the labs like machine learning lab, the robotics and many more. So what about the campus life? We also talked this in the interview, so it is like that. I mean, things are still improving, but the life is really well here, I would say. Sometimes hectic, but still manageable, I would say. Also the coding part. So coding starts on the day one. I mean, the projects are the real life and the industry based, so you don't need to worry about it, and the networking you get is really well because alumni are at really good places. Yes, so the workload could be hectic, but I would say you will get used to it after some time. And the management part, then you can also pursue your hobby whenever you want. Now there's one thing which is financial assistant, which is also available here, so you can check out this on the website. And I know this video is little longer, but I hope this also clears your doubts. And if you think the doubts are not still cleared, you can comment out, so I'll try to reach out and give you the answers. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon. Bye bye.